And welcome everybody to another episode of the Light the Torch podcast. I am your host, B. Jones, and I got my guys with me. Bottom right, we have our guy Guns. Bottom left, we have Tyler. And to the left of me, we have Blackie Chan. So, boys, a rough one last night. Very ugly loss. Something that you can kind of say that we were kind of expecting and kind of, based off the way that we played in the last 3 weeks maybe after the bye week, basically. And in my opinion, it was just the chickens coming home to roost, man. What do you guys think about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's something basically we've been talking about for weeks, and it just unraveled from the start. And obviously, we'll get into more of the details, but it was just not a good game from us, obviously.
If it wasn't for doing this podcast now, I would be in a little hole right now, just hiding until the next game. So,
yeah, man. I have to be honest with you guys. It's not the easiest to do this show
No.
after an ugly victory ugly loss like that. We had ugly victories leading up to this.
Yeah.
This loss doesn't really come by surprise, but at the same time, it does. It's like, why weren't these fixed? And I'm just gonna be honest, man. The thing that bothers me the most about it was Lincoln's arrogance behind it, or leading up to this game, or just him not just trying to make it seem like we weren't seeing what we were seeing prior to this. We were clearly, everyone was clearly telling him, like, hey, man, we're not looking good. Don't be fooled by the level of competition that we played. Things need to be shored up, man. They didn't.
Yeah.
This is the result, man. So there's a lot to go over tonight. Yeah, man. And this is not going to be one of those happy sunshine pumping episodes. There is some positives to take away, but for the most part, man, we're going to have to just lay it out there, man.
Like it is.
Yeah, and hopefully the team is doing the exact same, because that's what needs to happen.
They need to have a come to Jesus moment right now.
They need to come to Jesus, Buddha, Allah. They need to be in deep prayer. Listen, they need to be baptized tomorrow. USC will lead the service. Something needs to happen, man. It needs to happen yesterday.
I haven't looked at really anything post game after this. I haven't watched Lincoln Riley. I didn't want to hear anything that he had to say.
I did. I finally. I didn't want to either. I was hesitant to do it, but I did check out the post game interview.
Well, you can let me know how that went.
There was some coach speak.
Some?
Yeah.
95% probably.
It was Clay Helton 2.0 there.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say that, man. Remember, I said this last episode when Rick was here. He has to realize that this fan base, us, we've heard it all before.
Yeah.
For a full decade of coach speak on why we're underperforming. There is nothing that he can say that's going to chill us out.
Nope.
From his criticism.
And
we've heard it all before.
Yeah, if he keeps up with
make it worse.
If he keeps up with this, he's going to lose fan base.
Quickly.
If not already.
Quickly. We got two. I mean, we still got people that are traumatized from the last regime.
Yeah.
So you just bringing up post-trauma, man. That's all he's doing.
He's definitely probably lost a lot of the people who are like bandwagoners when he joined. But exactly. some of the, I'm wondering what the boosters are saying right now.
Well, anytime you lose to a rival, the booster's going to have something to say.
Yeah.
And when you lose to a rival in that way, they're really going to have something to say.
I want to hear what like the McKays, like Jeff McKay or whatever, who's part of NIL and all that stuff, has to say about all of this.
Oh, yeah, they're seeing the same things we're seeing.
Yep. Lindell's talking about it. Reggie, Matt's talking about it.
Exactly. Lindell's not one to hold his tongue.
No.
So, yeah. Lincoln's under some pressure, guys. Let's just call it what it is. He's under some pressure, and his arrogance is not helping him or the team, because I feel like the team takes the personality of their head coach. And with that being said, man, we see, oh man, Rose gonna kill me. We see Oregon taking on the personality of Dan Lanning. You can say what you want about Dan Lanning, but right now he's got his boys playing.
Yeah, they really could have tied that game and went to overtime, and who knows what would have happened.
Well, we know he doesn't make the best decisions. Tyler didn't like that one, so no,
but he didn't make the best decisions, but his team was playing to the point where he probably could have made those decisions. We weren't playing like that for Lincoln to be going on it for fourth down or whatever. We were playing horrible until then. And I get you want to be confident, but like you got to read the team and go for the points that we need to have.
Well, you can be confident when your team has shown that they can do things.
We weren't able to do things. And the fact that we were luckily enough to get to the red zone, take the easy points. Don't go for it on fourth down with like 4th and 3 when we haven't been able to do anything successful.
Yes, our O-line is atrocious right now.
Should we just go into like
let's get it
first
quarter?
Overall reactions. We've already been doing that.
Yeah. So, go ahead, guys. Give us your take.
No worries, guys. Yeah, so I mean, my overall reaction, just first off, I got to give pretty much credit to the defense for what they had, given what was given to them. Yeah. I think outside of that, I believe it was Jalen Smith that gave up that touchdown. I would say they played a pretty good game that I can really remember. So got to give props to them and just hopefully that continues, growth and whatnot and for that group. Other than that, I know we said this in our chat. This team really, for some reason, and maybe it's because he's obviously on the staff, this reminds me of a Cliff Kingsbury Cardinals team, where the team is flat. They come out, they're behind the game. The O-line is not consistent. They can't run the ball, and they're having to try to throw the ball, and their QB's throwing interceptions. I'm concerned that Lincoln doesn't really care. The way he kind of spoke after game seemed like he kind of knows this team's not made for it, and I think that's concerning. They should be made for it. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a non-conference loss. We still have our conference play to go on and do our thing, and hopefully that will lead us to a potential playoff. But I mean, the way the O-line and how this team is trending, it doesn't seem like that's gonna happen. Wide receivers continue to can't get open. They're not on the same page with Caleb. It was good to see Zach Branch out there. Good. I like that little running back little play they had. I mean, I think that was the only new thing that we saw. I don't think we ever even saw the like RPO he does with the tight end. I don't think a lot, maybe once or twice. It just seemed like it's the same old kind of somewhat vanilla offense. And again, maybe it's due to the O-line, to what he knows going into the game, but I think at the same time you should try to create plays and find ways to get yardage and get that O-line going, and maybe then we can get some type of continuity and whatnot. So obviously disappointing, like all of us. Definitely going to see how Lincoln goes throughout this year, because I obviously have concerns, and we'll see what transpires.
Yes, sir. Tyler?
I'll try not to sit on my soapbox for too long here. But that was embarrassing. Like the defense stepped up and played pretty well, but Caleb looked scared in the pocket. The offensive line was absolutely atrocious. Michael Tarquin is a fat bust. He's literally like Swiss cheese. As he's not even guarding Caleb's backside, and Caleb can't even sit in the pocket because this guy's just getting bum rushed every single time off the line. And Didic has been a disappointment at center. And I really thought that him sliding over after Nealon was gone was not going to be the biggest, drop off there. And I thought he was going to be the glue to kind of keep the offensive line together. And he's, it seems like he was injured a little bit last night. He kind of came up hobbling a little bit. But I mean, he's got too many snap infractions. He's not like leading that group like he should. And, they're the weakest link by far last night. And, it's been starting to show cracks for the last few weeks. The defense played pretty well. They didn't get any sacks. They didn't really throw the ball that often, so there wasn't really a whole lot of opportunity for sacks anyways. But, I don't have the stats in front of me, so I don't know how many tackle for losses they had, but it didn't really seem like there were all that many. I'm sure one of you guys probably got that stat, but, one small thing that, like, if I had to find something to be excited about was that Damani and Christian Roland Wallace didn't have a single pass completed to the two of them. Once again, there were not very many opportunities, but outside of that Jalen Smith bomb, which was a good play call to isolate a guy that's usually playing nickel, having him play outside because of the lack of depth that we have. That guy Jalen Smith is not the guy that we want running on a post pattern down the middle by himself. Like, he needs to have safety help on a play like that, and it was just a good play call. So besides that, like, the defense did play pretty well. They didn't have a whole lot of opportunities to not allow them to put points on the board because of the short field, as everybody knows and watched last night. So Caleb looks like he's running for his life, and that's not good for a dude that, is supposed to be confident. Like, yeah, he's elusive, but if he is terrified that he's going to get lit up every single play, like, he's going to start making some, uncharacteristic mistakes like he did last night. So this could get pretty ugly here if Riley doesn't change the play calls. Like, run more screens. Like, they're bringing some pressure. Like, change some stuff up to get these guys out of the backfield and to drop into coverage a little bit more. I've played a year of football in my life. I've watched it my whole life, but I played a year of it in my life. And, like, I know to make that adjustment. Like, it's not that difficult. So like I said, I'll get off my soapbox now so you guys can step on up and get your turn here. Because if not, I could be talking here all night long.
Oh, don't worry. We'll come back around.
Oh, yeah, we'll definitely be back.
Yeah. Lucky Chan. Step up on the soapbox, man.
Yep, I'm standing up high. It was ugly. Like, I saw one time it was Emmanuel Pregnon. He was stood up real quick, and then he just tossed him down to the ground. Like, he went all on fours, and he just came up and just in Caleb's face so quick, and it was embarrassing. Tarquin just, like, they would just cross his face and he'd blink and he'd be looking around just like, which way did he go? And it was bad. Like, there was multiple times that I forgot, it was a strong side defensive end or something like that, northern linebacker. I can't remember his name, but he just would come in scot-free, and you expect someone that size, he was like, what, 6'3" something or whatever, and then have Austin Jones or Marshawn Lloyd come in and try to block him for a brief second, or when we're doing the RPO, and then Caleb's like, okay, which way am I going to go with this? Because this guy's right in our face already, and we don't even have time to think. So, like, there was zero protection on Caleb at all. Like, Caleb would see someone come to his right. He's like, okay, I'm going to spin out. He spins. Someone else is right in his face. His backside was already taken over. So it's just like he had no place to go. He tried to step up. They did a great job. They spied him. They had someone dedicated just to Caleb. Like, because every time Caleb went out, there was someone already right there to run him out of bounds. Like, he could not get any room except for that one touchdown that got called back for holding. So it was just ugly. Like, it was nice to see Zachariah get a nice punt return. Or was it punt return or kickoff return? I can't remember, but it was nice to see that give us a little bit of life, and then it was just taken away from us. Like, we had so many opportunities like to come back. I thought when we were down by 11 points, 20-31, I was like, okay, we have an option, we have a chance. And then right after that, right after we scored, they come back with a freaking kickoff return for 99 yards or whatever. That was just deflating. Our defense, yeah, like Tyler said, it was nice. Like, I was looking, I was like, I have not heard anything about, like, I have not seen Domani get a tackle. I have not seen the other corner get a tackle or CRW get a tackle. I was like, okay, this is good. They weren't like, I was looking at the stats, like Hartman only threw 126 yards. Like, that's great. Like, they had that one blown assignment, or not blown assignment, but a good play call that got Jalen Smith. But other than that, they weren't doing anything. What's his name? Estime only had 95 yards on 22 attempts. That's good. And all, like, we were expecting maybe worse than that. I was expecting worse. I thought he was going to put up 200 yards on us, but we held him. And the only reason why he has 2 touchdowns is because our offense was not helping our defense at all. Like, we were getting them on our side of the field every turnover. Like, there was not one time that turnover started on the opposite end of the field. So it was like Caleb was under duress, making what is called throws that he knows he shouldn't be making or trying, but he just wanted to be Superman because he knew that's what this team needed. But Superman, like, it's kind of sad because freaking Notre Dame's green, so they were basically kryptonite at this time. So I'm done.
Well, let's talk about it, man. We got Caleb playing the worst game of his life, obviously, right? So I'm gonna drop you guys with a little something that is gonna wow you, right? Keaton Slovis at Notre Dame was that 2 years ago. 27 for 37, 299 yards. Caleb Williams ain't better than Keaton Slovis? And our line was considered bad then, right?
Yep.
Caleb, listen, we've been saying this for way too long now, since last year, since you got here. Although, yes, you won the Heisman. That's great. But we've still been saying you hold the ball entirely too long. Get rid of the ball. Get rid of the ball. Right? So you're just a sitting duck back there, basically. They trapped you in. That was their whole point. They wanted you to step up in the pocket and make you beat them that way. And look what happened. That was their whole game plan. Keep Caleb in the pocket. You get outside that pocket, don't worry. We got something for that. We got somebody for you. Just beat us with your arm, right? So that means you got to get – obviously, your O-line is trash. So, Lincoln, you know that. Where are the screens? Where are the slants? Where's the quick plays? You got get your athletes in space quick. That's what you have. You have great athletes that need to be in space to get out. Look at that play we ran, the option play we ran. I don't even know if that was supposed to be it. It looked like a broken play, kind of, to Marshawn when he scored that touchdown.
I haven't watched it over again, so I can't remember.
Never went back to it. Never went back to that.
Yeah, and having Zachariah Branch back there, they didn't know what to do. And he picked up, 15 yards or something like that?
See, I said last episode, okay, now this is when he's going to –
here's Raul.
Okay. Yo, check him out. Raul, what up, man?
Hold on, fellas.
We're trying.
Hey,
we're fighting through this podcast.
We took an L, but it's all right. It's still fighting the fuck on.
But yeah, so I was saying, I said it last episode that I thought we would open up the playbook, right? That was exactly what I was expecting for Lincoln Riley to do, because we've seen plays that last year that we have not seen this year, right? So I'm like, okay, now he's going to open up his bag a little bit and get creative with these plays, especially in the running game. Man, we still seeing the same vanilla plays that we've been seeing all year. I'm like, what is going on? And I think a lot of that has to do with the horrible O-line play, and Lincoln knows that he has a horrible O-line. But let's not dance around it, Lincoln. Let's say that. Like, hey, I can't run the things out on, you know what I mean? Yes, you are overall in charge of that, and that's overall your fault, but you need to man up and say that too. We're tired of the coach speak, man. We had a whole decade full of coach speak. We don't want to hear that crap, man. You're not fooling anybody over here. We see what we're seeing. You're not going to be able to throw us off with words. We know exactly what we're seeing, and it's not looking good. And I'm gonna step down off my soapbox, man. Let's move to. Sorry, Rob. Let you go ahead and step up on the soapbox, man. How are you feeling about? What's your overall reaction?
Obviously, very disappointed that we took the L. I mean, we didn't look good at all yesterday. So it's definitely a tough pill to swallow, but the coaching staff needs to make an adjustment. Lincoln Riley needs to step it up with his play calling. He needs to understand that whatever he was doing last year is not going to work because of the old line, right? The old line last year was excellent. I wish we had last year's old line this year, and if that's the case, we might even win it all this year. At this point, it's hard to see us winning it all just because we have a tough situation. I think I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I believe we're going to talk about that in the other quarter. But if Lincoln Riley is able to adjust his play calling offensively, I still think we have a chance, to go far this year. So overall, yesterday was very disappointed, but it's just one loss. So if we can bounce back, I think we'll be all right.
Yep.
You know what's crazy? Like this team, we outgained them in total yards. We had more plays. Like we had 74 plays to their 49 plays. We averaged 4.1 yards a play, which is not the worst. But then, it's just insane just because of the turnovers is what killed us, I feel like. Well,
yeah, you can't win any game with 3 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, and getting sacked 6 times.
Yeah,
nobody wins the game.
And then kick return touchdown.
Yeah. They only lost 5 yards.
I saw a stat without the shorter field. They had 3 or 4 punts and a field goal.
Yeah, I forgot who posted this. I took a screenshot. USC Nico. Time of possession, 34 minutes to Notre Dame's 25. First downs, 23 to their 13. We were 6 of 13. They were 3 of 10. We had 9 penalties for 75 yards to their 5 for 54. It's just, the interceptions were on the 12-yard line, 23-yard line, and the 50-yard line. And the fumble was on the 17-yard line. That's just nasty. Like, you cannot win that way at all. They had 28 points off the turnovers. If we take those out, who knows? We're probably up a lot more than.
Yeah, I mean, if those don't happen, I think we end up walking out with a victory.
But the thing is, shoulda, coulda, woulda, or whatever, something like that. But I don't want to hear anything about playoffs at this point with this team. I just want to hear about winning the next game.
Exactly.
Yeah, we just got to take it 1 week at a time at this point.
Yeah,
if the playoffs are still there, I mean, I said I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I think we're going to talk about that in the next quarters, right?
I think so. Well, I don't remember what our next thing is. Oh, what's next for USC?
Everybody's discombobulated still, man. But listen, let me ask you guys, man. what would you have done? Well, we'll get into that too. So I don't want to. Yeah, we can go ahead and move forward, man. So next topic, man, because there's just too much to talk about, man. Too many soapbox conversations.
What's next for USC?
Well, there we go. That's what. So what's next needs to be Lincoln Riley himself. Looking at Lincoln Riley himself and asking, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Because this is what, fourth game in a row where the team has come out flat. We're supposed to be this great offensive team, but the offenses look horrible, stagnant at times against lesser competition. And that was against a Notre Dame team that is not even, let's be honest, they're not that good, dude. They're not that good. Or they haven't been that good. You know, everybody's good when they play us, but you know, but and the worst part about it is that's not the best team we're going to face. We're not the best team on our schedule. So why is it that we keep coming out flat? That's what needs to be asked. They need to go or Lincoln did mention that he needs to go sit down with with each coordinator. I mean, with each position coach and see if we're playing the right personnel. Well, Lincoln, if you paid attention to us over here, I know we're in season. You don't really like to do that, but we've been telling you, not just us, everybody's been telling you that you're not playing the right personnel. You know. So oh man, and don't even get me started on Mr. Mr.
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Mr. Mario Williams, man.
Yeah, right.
Oh, and you know what? Prior to the season, I just knew that Mario Williams, being the good player that he is, was going to be eager to make up for that Tulane debacle. And so far, man, he has not done so to the point where I feel like it's just time to go ahead and let him rest a little bit, man, and get some mental reps. That's what I think needs to be next for USC. They need to take a deep look within. They need to do some self-scouting deeply. I need them to look at every game up to this point and treat this like a bye week, like today. Like you have a bye day. It's a Sunday. You need to watch all the film you need to watch on ourselves and Utah and get some corrections going because you don't have much time. The rest of our schedule is full of stacked teams, you know. So we don't have room for error. And I'm going to step down now and pass it to the guys.
So what's next? So I mean, this is probably like I think second and third quarter kind of the same. But what's next for me? I would say for like USC, get the O-line going, right? Try to figure out, do we need to move people around? Do we need to maybe start doing no huddle? Maybe that somehow gets everyone, we get quick plays, right? Everyone's moving. It's just much simpler. Maybe they're overthinking a lot and whatnot. So that's definitely needs to be kind of, today, I would say. Hopefully they're looking into that and obviously into Monday. And then defense, just continue what you did into this past game, continue this growth and continuity and go into this Utah game. So obviously we're going to need it. Every game is going to be big here from here on out. So those are my big things.
Yep. Tyler, go ahead and step up, man.
I mean, who's going to be the leader in the locker room? Like, who's going to like rip somebody a new one at this point? Like, it doesn't seem like anybody is pissed that like we got our ass kicked in front of like 10 million people last night. Like, it doesn't seem like anybody cares. Like, you don't expect that in this game, this violent of a game, this like powerful of a game, somebody's got to step up and be the guy that like rips somebody's face mask and like, dude, let's get this going. Like, there's just nobody that's going to do that. And if you're not going to do it against Utah, who, thinks the whole nation thinks that they own us, they're not going to do that this week, then they're never going to do it. And like we've been talking about this, like Dan Lanning lost the game for Oregon because he doesn't know how to like kick a field goal on 4th down. But like those guys are going to run through the wall for Dan Lanning. And he's like, we'll talk about some of this other stuff here probably in the third quarter, but like guys want to show up and play for him, and he's willing to do that. And Riley's just this like Southern gentleman, just like Clay Helton was. Like he doesn't want to say the wrong thing, doesn't want to have any sort of sound bites for the media, so he just says all of the just like vanilla stuff. Like we got our asses handed to us in front of national, a 10 million viewers last night, and Riley comes out of there talking about how like excited he is for the rest of the season. Like that press conference was painful to watch. There is no accountability. Like Caleb just kind of brushed off 3 picks like it was no big deal. Like they got embarrassed and nobody cared. Like Jamil Muhammad was up there and he seemed like he was a little upset, but like, is somebody going to rip somebody a new one this week? Because this is the team that beat us twice last year and made us like a mockery in front of the country. Like we should have gone to the college football playoff last year if Caleb's hammy doesn't go out and we don't have a couple weird things happen in the game in Utah and Salt Lake last year. But everybody just sees what the score is at the end of those 2 games. And so do you want to avenge that? Do you want to like, absolutely slaughter somebody at home that we should because they don't have a quarterback right now? Yeah. Like if it's not now, like I don't know when it's ever going to be. And we're going to have some real serious problems if we struggle this week.
Absolutely. Bro.
No, kind of what the fella said already. I mean, they need to have a coaching meeting. I said it last week, and if they didn't have it last week, they got to do it this week. And it starts with Lincoln Riley taking accountability. I know Grinch is who he is, but a lot of the criticism does have to fall on Grinch for not. He's the one leading the team, and he's a captain out there. So when something's going off, not going according to plan, he needs to realize it and make the adjustment, especially on the offensive side. Like I said, Colorado doesn't have the greatest offensive line, but somehow they make it work. Obviously, it hasn't been like that on every game, but I feel like they make adjustments, make quick passes, to help out the offensive line that's not the greatest, right? So he needs to change up his playbook, realize that whatever he's doing, it's not always going to work. So he needs to go to plan B or C at times. And I think if he does that coming up and for the rest of the season, I personally think we still have the personnel, to at least make it to the Pac-12 championship game. And if we improve week by week, I still think we have a tough enough schedule and that the Pac-12 is strong enough to, potentially make it to the playoffs. But at this point, we can't talk playoffs until, we show up on a week by week basis. I personally still think that we can make it happen if the players, if the coaching staff, they all, join and have a meeting together as a team, and like you said, look at yourself in the mirror and take accountability for your own actions. A lot of the players, no one's perfect, but, realize when you do a mistake, take accountability and see what you can do to improve. And I think if the team does that, I still think it'll be a successful season for us. Yeah, we took the L last or Saturday, but there's plenty of season left. Season's not over. We took an L last year, and we could have made it to the playoffs if, like Tyler said, if Williams Hammy doesn't go out, we would have made the playoffs. I still think we can do it this year. It's just going to be a little harder just because we don't have the offensive line to, rely on, but we still have the personnel in other areas that can make it work.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Tefed. There's no fire in this team at all.
Yeah, so there's no passion. Like, you're not seeing anyone, like, you saw maybe like one clip of Caleb getting in their face and trying to get them riled up, but like no one's really like pulling a Tim Tebow after they lost that one game or anything like that. No, there's no like we don't know what's going on. We don't really know if there's like anyone in the locker room just yelling and trying to get people fired up or whatever. But they just don't seem like when they're in their press conferences, they're definitely coached on how to speak and not show too much emotions or whatever. Which, as a fan, like especially after a loss, it's just kind of concerning. Like they're not showing the emotion, like the emotions that Bryson Shaw showed was great to see. And that's what we want to see from our leaders. Like we're not seeing that from the team captains. Like where are the team captains? Where are they trying to bring this team together? Like it just seems like they were not excited to be there. They just were taken out of the game. Like they did not. So the next thing is just like a team what is it called, coaches meeting and a players meeting. They have to figure out if they want to win this thing at this point, because right now it just doesn't feel like it. Like I don't see any of the emotion that tells me that they are in it to win it. Like it just is not there. Caleb was under siege all night. The O-line has been underwhelming. No chemistry from last year. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We definitely talked about that, TAFAF, and it's just there's nothing from what we saw last year. Like the fight just doesn't seem to be there right now. They need to find that. They need to dig deep and dig deep down inside, because right now the fight has just begun. Like this was just the first round of a 9-round fight right now, and we're getting our ass kicked.
So we basically got knocked down on the first round, and now we just got to stand up and
we got up at the 9 count. We're wobbly right now. Like if we next game is going to be around. Like if we lose next game, we're knocked out.
Yeah. So there's no more room for error.
Nope.
That's for sure.
We have to be perfect.
Yep.
Like I don't want to even see an ugly game. Like before this, an ugly game would have got us in there, but now we can't have that. Like we need style points for the what is it called, CFP, to be able to even consider us. Like if we win, sure, that's great. But they're gonna look back at this Notre Dame game like, nah, we're not letting those guys in. They won, yeah, sure, but they've been winning ugly for the past 6 games, so we're not going to let them in. We're not going to have another TCU going in here.
Right. So we kind of mentioned it a little bit, but I do want to talk about it. I want to get you guys' opinion on Lincoln Riley's arrogance. I mean, obviously, anyone can see that. No. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. No. Yeah, maybe a little too far, but we do need somebody who's going to fire man, because it's trifling. But yeah, Lincoln Riley's
bring Tackett Curtis' uncle, at least be helpful in some way.
Right? Again?
Bring up Tackett Curtis' uncle. He'll fire your ass up.
Yeah, bring in Farmer Fran, man. There's something, man. We need Farmer Fran from the Water Boys. Somebody, man, get on these guys. This is ridiculous, man. I mean, I'll get back to the arrogance thing later, but I've never seen a team that just has no leaders. Like we're getting our butts kicked. I see no one on the sidelines getting in everybody's faces, especially the guys who are underperforming. Coaches ain't doing it. I don't see nobody. I mean, well, I guess you can't really do that too much in this soft generation, but snatch somebody by the face mask, get in their face, and tell them to wake up. Where's that? That's just a part of the game. I guarantee you watch Alabama, you'll see that.
Yeah. Call each other out.
We did.
Like, why aren't you like? Come on, you need to pick up the slack here. We all need to pick up the slack, but come on, this can't happen.
In fact, where's our Travis Dye?
Yeah, Travis Dye.
Travis Dye was that guy last year, and we don't have that this year. I honestly thought, who I thought would be that guy?
Marshawn?
Justin Dedich.
Oh, Justin.
I thought he would be that guy. For it is my understanding that during the 4-8 season, Dedich was the one getting on those the quitters. Remember we had a bunch of guys quit on us before that. You know,
Right
the
before
Hunter
Mitchell.
Eccles of
Yeah,
the world.
right
Yeah, I said it. I
before
probably
Mitchell
out by name. The Hunter Eccles of the world. Yeah, Dedich was the one getting on those guys. Like, hey, you ain't with us? Get out of here. So I thought for
Mitch
sure
Brown would be one of those two.
Yeah. I mean, it can't be Gentry alone. So the leadership committee, they definitely need to have a meeting.
Oh,
There we
USC
go. We got a
here.
surprise for you guys, man. There he is.
Welcome.
Jay. Can you hear us?
Microphone issues?
Yeah, we're having a little issues. He's just getting home, as you guys know, man.
Man, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
There he is.
Man, I can't hear you guys. Let's see what's going on here.
Uh-oh.
This is not the way to go. And I'm lost in every sauce you can think of.
Well, you're right on par.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we hear you just fine.
I hope you can't hear me.
We can.
I'm lost in every sauce. Imagine. Let's see. Stop my cam. I'm on my phone, man. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we hear you.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Let me try to come back in. I'm going to come back in.
All right.
But yeah, man. Yeah, man. Listen, I'm sure Jay gonna mention it too, man. I don't see the leadership on the sidelines when we get in these adverse situations.
Yeah.
And it's every team needs that. Every team needs that.
It's fucking Notre Dame. Like, you got to show some type of fucking emotion. Like, Lincoln Riley needs to realize, like, hey, like, I know you're this Southern gentleman, like Tyler mentioned, but like, fucking show some type of emotion. Like, it's fucking Notre Dame. Like, come on. Like, us fans, we want to at least see something. Like, after getting like, say something to at least look something for the future, right? Like, for next week. So,
all right, I can hear you guys now. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we can.
Man, how you guys doing?
We're trying to survive.
We're trying to fight on, Jay. That's what
that's all we can do right now is fight on, man. If it's not one thing, it's another, man. Now it was the defense, now it's the offense.
Man, for real. Jay, we was just mentioning, man. We don't see that fire. We don't see that leadership on the sidelines like we had last year with Travis Dye, man. When he was the guy who bring everybody together in these adverse situations, man. We haven't seen a guy that's gonna really, grab somebody by the face mask and get into them like, hey, wake up, let's go, let's play. Who's holding these guys accountable, man? Peer to peer. We don't see that, man. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, I think you think about this, man. You think about a guy like Shane Lee, who was one of those guys that was the leader last year. Now he's not playing. He's not even having any type of action right now. So now, I mean, natural thing to do is somebody like him to take a step back as far as when you're talking about leadership, as the leadership role goes. And then, I don't know, man, it's the whole vibe is weird. Last night on my live, I was talking about these guys gelling together. I felt like they blend and gel together a lot better last year opposed to this year. It doesn't seem like the chemistry is just all the way there, man. I think if the chemistry with Travis Dye, he was a natural leader. He stood in the huddle. He did what he did. But he had that leadership experience coming from Oregon. And Shane Lee had that experience coming from Alabama. We've seen those two guys be the two leaders last year. Now it's like, Marshawn Lloyd came over and Austin Jones came over the year prior, but those guys weren't the vocal type guys, man. You know what I mean? It was natural for Travis Dye and it was natural for Shane Lee. So I think we're seeing that. And Caleb, he does take the leadership role, but I don't think he's as vocal as some of those other guys as far as doing that. You know what I mean? He's a natural leader. He's a QB. The QB is going to be the leader anyway, because that's the commander in chief of pretty much the whole team. But we don't see that, man. And we see a drop off in all of it, man, all across the board. So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
All right. So the topic here for our second quarter is what's next for USC. And all of us pretty much mentioned, man, they need both coaches, staff, and players separately need to have their own individual meetings. What are your thoughts?
Man, no doubt. It starts from the head coach, man. You know what I mean? A lot of people, and I was trying to tell a lot of guys, man, just on my channel, like everybody was putting it off on Alex Grinch, and I wasn't saying that he was without blame, but at the end of the day, the head coach, he's the one that controls the whole ship, right? And I think it really starts with him. We see several different questionable things, even just last night within the play calling within itself. It's very, very suspect. It's very questionable. It doesn't even. Let me ask you guys this: do you guys ever remember Oklahoma offense looking like the way it looked last night? Ever when Lincoln Riley was at the head? I've never seen an Oklahoma offense look like that, where they can't move the ball, make progress anywhere on the field ever. So I think it really starts with him, man. I mean, we don't have the best defense, but every defense, if you have some type of offense, they feed off our offense. So Lincoln Riley being ahead of our offense, I think that the play calling was bland. We had 2 weeks in a row. Arizona did the exact same thing, I believe, that really just kind of had Caleb, man, ruffled last night. And as a result, we've seen the same type of performance, almost, except he ran.
Right. I mentioned that last episode. I talked about how we up to this point in the season we haven't seen plays that we saw last year. That Lincoln hasn't called some of those creative plays that we seen him call last year up to this point. So I thought for sure this would be the game that he would break some of those out, that he would go into his bag a little bit, man. I'm just very shocked that we're still seeing the same old vanilla offense that we've been seeing all season.
Yeah, and at the same time, I know everybody gets on our offensive line, but if we just be real with ourselves, let me ask you guys this. Do you guys remember last year when Caleb, some of those things that, he was rolling out of the pocket last year, he was moving and grooving, but he was making some very unorthodox throws, very crazy throws. He was making them and hitting them. That was Caleb being Caleb. I believe part of it is, even though, he's under distress, I understand that. But think about the tight end that was going up the middle and he just overthrew him. Caleb normally hits that. Think about the run play, the pass play where he threw it, I think, through the right and on the left-hand side. All that field was wide open. You guys remember that play last night?
Yep.
So I don't know, man. It seems like he's almost not seeing the field like he normally does. And Caleb's the best player in college football, but for whatever reason, has a lot to do with it. Notre Dame Stadium, the offensive line, the coaching staff. I think the coaching staff could put Caleb in a way better position than they're putting him in right now. And it has him looking lost in the sauce. I think a combination of all that stuff has him looking lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I think he's like focusing on if he's going to get hit from behind. He's focusing on if he's going to have at least the extra 1 or 2 seconds just to be able to set his feet. He's just like he's pulling the trigger way too early. It's just, he just does not feel comfortable back there. He doesn't feel like he doesn't have his escape option anymore. He doesn't feel like he has that anymore. And bringing it back to the coaching, like Prime Time, like I want to see that passion that Prime had from our coaches. Like he was visibly angry, and looking at Lincoln's face, you can't tell what he's thinking. He's just going to give us the same generic answer, but Prime Time is legit just telling you, hey, we were trash and our offense was trash. But Lincoln Riley's not going to say that, is he? No.
I think that's the most puzzling thing about all of this, really, to be honest with you, because the definition of insanity is the exact definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. And it's just like, and you get the same answers for 3 weeks in a row, pretty much.
Yeah. We're going insane right now.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It seems like we're the only ones going insane.
Yeah, he seemed like he's okay, but I mean that may be everybody, man. My wife is she's a mental health counselor, man. She's a therapist, and she gives me all these different things that she says to her clients, and different people express their anger, they express their emotions. Everybody expresses everything different. He may be just one of those guys that expresses it different, and as a result, we can't tell. It frustrates us because you want to shake him and be like, bro, like, what's the deal? You're saying the same thing over and over again, but at the same time, he doesn't want to give his enemies, I'm saying his enemies, his enemies, he don't want to give his enemies the game plan. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna just be like, okay, my offensive line is tore up on the floor. He's not gonna say that. And in reality, it probably is some real stuff going on. Apparently it is, because the proof is in the pudding, right?
Yeah. He doesn't have to say it. The tape shows it. So
Right. But he's not gonna get on camera and say that I got issues with my offensive line, knowing we got another big time team coming up. But I understand what you're saying. It has to be some type of accountability at the top.
yeah, he could say that there's nothing wrong with it all he wants, but it's clear as day.
Yeah, Jay, I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying, but there was no adjustments to the play calling. Like, if they're going to rush five, like, they've got 6 guys basically in the box every single play, and they're getting pressure every single time. We didn't see, like, any halfback screens, no tight end screens, no screenplay, like, at all. And that's how you get these guys to, like, get off of their toes and a little bit back on their heels a little bit, and ultimately try to balance it out. And there was none of that yesterday. And it's really weird to watch somebody that's this offensive wizard not be able to look at his own team and be able to make adjustments like that. And he should know. He should know faster than anybody else that we've got these issues and be able to make those types of changes.
Yeah.
You know, when he got Caleb out into space, like, you know, Brandon was talking about earlier, with that, you know, little option play, whether it was a broken play or not, like, they're out in space, you give your weapons space, they should be able to win. And, you know, we've got nobody that can win a 50-50 ball right now. Like, that's why Dorian Singer was supposed to be in this offense and was supposed to be great, but he can't even get open. So, like, if we can't get these guys to be able to, you know, win a 50-50 ball and, like, earn chunk plays down the field, then you got to get your weapons in space. And if you don't have enough time to get them in space, then you got to get guys, you know, back on their heels a little bit. And you got to be able to throw a screen every once in a while to get these guys, you know, a chance to be able to do that. And it was just very weird. And don't even get me started, like, the last, like, 7 minutes of the game when we were down by 11 and there was, like, 7 minutes and we're taking 35 seconds on every single play to run a play. Like, this team is supposed to, like, be this high-powered offense, and we're going slow, and, like, that was, like, don't even get me started on that. That was just so weird, and the wheels fell off after that. But yeah, I mean, why is the play calling what it is? Like, that was
super suspect, man.
That was some, you know, kid that's played a year of Madden going out there, like, doing, like, none of that was anything special at all.
Yeah, like, what's his name? Like, it's bad when, like, Michael Jackson's getting hit the moment he touches the ball. They know where the ball is going to be at. Like, they see how we're lined up. Like, okay, this is what's going to happen. They knew what was going to happen before we knew what was going to happen.
Man, if you look at our whole receiving core, there is mismatch nightmares all up and through.
All over, man. Yeah, PFF just ranked our receiver core the number 1. They all have 85 grades. It starts from the top, man. Like Tyler said it. Yeah, Tyler said it, and I totally agree with Tyler, man. I mentioned that in the Arizona game. The game planning just absolutely was horrible.
It makes no sense. We're getting schemed up every game. Okay, listen, I know our O-line is looking atrocious right now, right? So that means they ain't going to be able to block but 2 seconds. Like Tyler said, where's the screens? Where's the slants? Where's the quick stuff that we need? Why aren't we seeing that? That just makes no sense. This is football 101 stuff. And Lincoln Riley is this offensive genius. Like, I don't understand, Jay. It's just not computing to me, man. The math ain't mathing. I just don't get it.
Yeah, like, not at all.
It almost seemed like as if you're throwing games, man. I don't want to put that out there.
Well,
yeah. It don't make sense. Like it don't make sense at all. Don't do that, Black Chan. Don't don't look at me like that, man. No, I'm not saying that he's doing that, man. God forbid, man. But man,
gotta give that disclaimer there.
Man, yeah, man, but it's just not making sense. Nothing else is making sense, man. No, this is football 101 stuff.
That's what I said. Like Oklahoma never had an offense that looked like that. So we didn't have an offense that looked like that last year. You know, so like why?
With the talent
nobody. Why?
Kingsbury. That's why.
What's that?
Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury.
There's no point.
We're literally watching his offense right now.
He's our
go ahead and tell me your Kingsbury theory there, Guns.
Well, I don't know. I see him looking at plays on it. I see Lincoln Riley looking at plays on his wrist or wherever he's looking at on the sideline between plays. So
that little tiny card that's like this big that Riley uses for like the same 7 plays that he calls all the time.
Right.
Man, I don't know, Jay. I just can't call it, and that's the frustrating part. Is man. But back to the leadership thing, Jay. What we also mentioned, man, we all thought that Justin Dedich would be that guy, that rah-rah guy that's going to get everybody fired up. And so far, man, not only has his performance been subpar, we ain't seen that fire out of him either to get everybody else riled up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's all the way healthy either, though. But it's weird, man. The whole thing is weird. Emmanuel Pregnall, I mean, I don't know. You know, I was expecting a little bit more. Michael Turquin, bro, like I don't. It's very the whole thing is questionable, man. But I do believe, though, man. I do believe, just given the way the schedule is right now, the way everything is, as far as you look at what Arizona did to Washington State. Washington State beat Oregon State, and I don't know, man. Arizona might finish up and run a table, which could really play big in our favor. And then, you know, if we could get it right and finish things right, I mean, we could still possibly be doing some big things, man. Just with the fact that Arizona did what they did against Washington State, I think Washington State could beat either Washington or Oregon, man. I mean, they have an opportunity just because of how good they are. So we don't know how these cards can play, man. This thing could just really be an absolute crazy show, man. So we just got to take care of business and wake up. I am happy about the defense, though. I mean, Christian Rowland-Wallace balled out. Damani, you know, Christian Rowland-Wallace had some nice pass breakups last night. Damani looked like his coverage was pretty much on lock. As far as the D line, I didn't see just like a whole lot of like sacks or anything like that, but the penetration, I mean, just kind of somewhat making the quarterback uncomfortable. I think they only had 251 yards total offense last night. So that's nothing. Yeah. Nothing. The rushing yards might have been like 95 yards, something like that. I got to go back and look at this stuff up, but we did. I mean, as far as the yardage wise, they didn't do anything, man. 28 points off of turnovers is ridiculous. And then you look at the field, he had it like 13 yards as far as the short field once the turnover happened. I think another one might have been like a 31-yard. I mean, all this is not. I got it written down somewhere, but it was just a bad deal, man. Putting your defense in that situation.
Yeah, hats off to the defense though. They did really. They were put in tough positions and they fought their hardest, but they can only fight for so long and not have to give up those points. But yeah, like what you were saying, they were 12, 13, and 50 yards.
Yep.
And the fumble was 35.
Yeah, if you looked at just the stats without looking at the final score,
we should win.
You'd think we won the game, you know.
Except for the interceptions.
Do you have the stats pulled up? We had the ball like 35 minutes compared to 25 minutes or something like that?
Yeah, 34 minutes. 25 to the time of possession. We had 23 first downs to their 13. We were 6 of 13 on third down to their 3 and 10. We had more penalty yards than them, but we had 300. We had 302 total yards to their 250. And what's his name? Hartman only threw for 126 yards.
Yep.
Estime only had 95 yards rushing.
Yep. Same way we did him last year. He had 6 for 43. We still held him. So the defense did what they had to do. And we just got cold cocked last night by the offense, man. We weren't expecting that.
No.
Oh, All right, we're gonna move forward, man. Halftime recruiting updates. Guns, what you got for us, man?
Yeah, so got a few updates on a few recruits. So Jalen Harvey, edge recruit in the DMV area. So he commits, tomorrow, 6:45 p.m. Eastern time. He got one prediction to SC from one of our insiders, and then two to Penn State as well on the 11th. The ones that Penn State were an Ohio insider, and then I'm just going to say a 247 assistant. From what I'm hearing, cautiously optimistic, but it sounds like close to home will be a factor here. Isaiah Rubin, DB, Oregon, SC, UCLA, and Utah are his final four. He commits the 20th, so this week. From what I'm hearing, he's an SC lean. We have a Stanford tackle from Huntington Beach, Justin T. From what I'm hearing, he's on flip watch. He took an official visit to Arizona. I guess it was like a late kind of spur of the moment. Before his commitment, he was pretty much all about SC. His family loves SC, so it's kind of why he's pretty much on flip watch. And then Jericho Johnson, D lineman, visits in the works. Been to Oregon and Washington recently. He actually just went to last week's game to Washington. And then if you guys have any questions, shoot it.
On the flip side, recruiting wise, Cam Fountain last night took all of his USC stuff off of his social media. So that is a concerning one because that's not a dude that we'd want to lose. That guy is incredibly talented in a spot that we definitely need all the help we can get. So hopefully his mom's love for SC holds on tight.
Hey, mom always wins, man. Jay, you got anything you want to add to that?
No, I think we may be good with Cam Fountain, man. His mom actually texted. Well, I think we good with him, man. And Braylon Conley this morning, he actually texted me this morning, and he shot me a video this morning. I just reposted it on my Twitter, and so I think we good, man. We just got to win out, man. We got to win out. Jericho Johnson, we got to get him. I know he's leaning toward Oregon, but of course, what Aiden Breland just did with Oregon. So we got to, and the Huntington Beach guy, he was leaning toward us. I thought that was kind of weird when he flipped to Stanford, man. That was very strange. I actually had a video already done for him, man. I think I might even showed it to you, to Brandon, but I think we got a shot at him as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in that one, man.
I have a question for you guys.
What's that?
Now that we're recruiting wise, obviously we're not paying recruits, at least not to the extent on the high school side as other programs. At least that's rumored out there, right? Do you guys see anything like that changing? Because we're not paying recruits, but we need to invest that money in better coaching staff or start paying the recruits. What do you guys think?
That's what I had for the third quarter here. So
yeah, listen.
That's what you have for the third quarter.
Is that third quarter stuff?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I mean,
might as well hop into it, man. Let's go ahead and hop into it third quarter, man.
Right, it fits in.
Third quarter, man. What does USC need to fix? Tyler,
yeah. I'll jump in. I mean, we've got this three-pronged issue. There's three major things that are going on. We don't pay high school kids. Our facilities suck. We're working on those. And everybody thinks that we can't play defense. And we played defense relatively decent last night. But more times than not, the defense is porous and doesn't show up. CBS Sports posted something a couple days ago, called us the University of Swiss cheese. That hurts. It's true, but it hurts. And so Riley's fighting against guys like Dan Lanning, fighting against the rest of the country with one arm behind his back because he won't pay high school kids. If we're supposed to have as much money as we do, being in Southern California, why not pay all the kids on scholarships a flat fee, something like that, and you still get the opportunities for kids to be able to get their type of NIL deals like Caleb kids. You get somewhat of an even playing field that way. The facilities, I don't know when those are supposed to be done. I've tried to do some research. You know, knowing how long it takes to do any sort of construction, it's probably going to be forever. So, like, Riley not paying high school kids is a serious issue because we are literally failing in the portal. Like, we get good, decent guys every once in a while. Like Jamil Muhammad, that guy's a stud. Super stoked that, you know, he transferred here. Wasn't really knowing what we were going to get out of him coming from, you know, Georgia Southern, but like, or Georgia State, whichever one was. And yeah, I mean, long term, there are some serious issues. Like, Riley chooses to be stubborn to not pay high school kids. And like, I was fine with it for a little while, but the recipe that he's created is just simply not working at this point. You got to be able to not handicap yourself against the rest of the country. If, you know, that's why we get these late night Oregon bags, losing Roger Pleasant, losing Josh Connerly. Like, Josh Connerly would have been a big difference maker last night.
Absolutely.
You move Monheim to right tackle, and then now your tackles are set. Like, then you don't have such a terrible offensive line if your tackles are set. Josh Connerly literally is like, he's a stalwart, like, left tackle already for Oregon. They have no concerns. I watched that game. It was in a perfect position like every single play. So if this team wants to be successful long term and doesn't want to be in that middling, like, Big Ten spot where Penn State always is, where they never can hang with Ohio State and Michigan, and they're just going to be that, like, tier below where they hang. Sometimes they get close. Sometimes it's like, oh, they've got a lot of hype before the beginning of the year, and then they choke, and then they suck. Like, Penn State always finds a way to just not be able to hang with Ohio State and Michigan. And that's where we got to play for the foreseeable future. So we're going to be in that same tier unless leadership changes or we start to build some serious depth, because the way that things are right now are just, we're not going to be able to seriously compete for national championships, in my opinion.
Yep. Guns.
Yeah, kind of what I said in the second quarter. I think we need to kind of change our approach on the offensive side, at least maybe going into the games. You know, maybe starting with some no huddle, getting the players going, the O line going, and then, you know, obviously slow it down, and hopefully that, you know, works and gives off to the defense some rest, obviously, in the second half. But like what Tyler kind of hit it off, the recruiting. I mean, I think that does need to be fixed and looked into. I think we just need to be somehow more aggressive in some way. I mean, I think we need to, like, get to the point where we're stalking these kids or something. I think that is I don't know, but like, it seems like some schools do that, you know, to that degree, where they're just literally talking to that kid every day, and it works, right? It seems like we're talking, you know, 3 times a week maybe and whatnot, and then that's it. So yeah, I think recruiting definitely needs to kind of just be reviewed and you know, maybe, you know, tweaked, essentially.
All right. Roll.
In my opinion, for this team this year, what we need to fix is, like, kind of what Gunner mentioned, adjust some of the offensive play calling. If you guys, if Lincoln Riley knows, and then the nation knows that, you know, our offensive line is probably our biggest weakness on the offensive side, you know, adjust the play calling. You know, help out. Caleb Williams. You know, make easy throws. You know, get the ball moving forward. You know, getting easy third downs. You know, just switching it up, make it easy at least to start the game, and then maybe towards the middle of the game, that's when you can potentially take some risks and going back to the old play calling that you were doing last year. But no, that's where I see things offensively. Defensively, kind of like what we've been mentioning in the previous weeks, maybe switch your personnel, try something a little different. I didn't really get to watch the full game yesterday. I saw some highlights, but, you know, the defensive was nothing was given to us last night, right? They were put in tough pressure situations and can only do so much. So we gotta do better offensively to at least help out the defense. And then just recruiting wise, I personally think something definitely needs to change. We can't rely on the portal every year. We definitely need to start putting a strong foundation, for the next years to come, right? Especially on the trenches. If that means having to potentially pay some recruits, yeah, that's where college football is moving towards too. We can't fall behind. We got to make something to close that gap between the schools that are currently paying out and giving Brown back. So that's just my opinion on that.
Bucky Chan.
For this year, we definitely need to. Lincoln Riley really needs to really dig deep and open up his playbook, like dust off anything that he has never run, even at Oklahoma. Like this needs to change. Like our offense is too predictable, it's too vanilla. Like the defense already knows what's going to happen before the ball is snapped, so they're already in perfect position. So it's not like it's just like it's hard for people. Like we're not overthinking. We're not outplaying them by the plays at this point. We're just outplaying them by athleticism. Like if we have a good gain, it's because our players made that look good, because all their players are in position, and our players just outplay the defense at that point. So our defense this year, I think, just have that same aggression that they did in this what is it called, Notre Dame game, because they were aggressive, they were flying to the ball. Like I saw a lot of effort and a lot of good tackling. Like sure, there was maybe some few tackles that they probably would have wanted to have back against Estime, but other than that, like they were flying to the ball, like wrapping up, and it was good on the defensive side. And Domani and CRW were holding it down on the outsides, besides that one for Jalen Smith. But our recruiting right now, we are looking like Dabo Swinney at this point right now. Just like we're good in the transfer portal or whatever because we're paying them out of the transfer portal, but Dabo's not paying high school kids. We're not paying high school kids. We're going to get left behind. Look at what's happening to Clemson right now. They're getting left behind in the ACC when they used to run the ACC before NIL happened. Now NIL's a thing. Florida State, Miami, who was that offensive guard or offensive tackle that we lost to Miami?
Margo.
Huh? Francis Malgo. I'm sure he got the bag over there. Like we really we have all the resources. We have pretty much as good as resources that Oregon has, and we're just not using them. Like if we have the answers to the tests and don't use them, why even have them? So we have the money to put into this. Why not flex it? Sure, maybe things will change in the next few years from now if they decide to regulate it more, but take advantage of it now. Because if we don't, we're going to be left behind. I know Ohio State probably pays their players. Michigan probably pays their players. Next year is going to be rough when we get to the Big Ten, because we're going to start losing players to Ohio State. We're going to lose more players to Ohio State and Michigan because we're not fully committed into this NIL. We're like, oh, we're just going to do transfers. That'll make people happy. No, it's not going to make people happy. We need to make the high school players happy because they're at this point right now, they are pretty much ready to start playing on a lot of sides of the ball. So we cannot lose out on these players anymore. It's unacceptable.
All right. Yes, EJ.
Man, I think it's definitely it's a tricky situation. And when you look at okay, well, you got collectives. Collectives is different from specifically having an NIL that targets one individual person. Like the collective Texas Tech has, I think they're playing their guys 25,000 all across the board. Oklahoma has one. Several different universities have one, but when you're talking about individual NILs, you know, ours mainly targets the kids once they get there. And I do think, in a sense, just given the climate of college football now, it can hurt us. Now, the question is does our boosters want to put out that type of money? I'm not going to name any players, but what if you have the best player that's supposedly in the country? What happens if he doesn't pan out? Now, how do you think that fit? How would you like to spend money and that money doesn't produce or doesn't make any type of results? You know, do you feel like your money's gone down the drain, or would you rather see a proven product? So that's the question I think that, you know, we have to answer. We can go after a guy like a Bear Alexander who still has 3 years left when we're talking about the transfer portal, or we can go after a guy that's in, you know, that's currently in high school. Because I'm gonna tell you, I mean, I went to college. You know, it's the speed is totally different when you get to college when you get from high school. And a lot of people can say a lot of things, but when you get there, I played running back. I was 6 feet, 225 pounds coming out of high school. And my thing is this: everybody's like me. when you get out of practice, it's like everybody's like you. So the question is, you know, how many people are gonna actually do the separation? And so that's what it's a lot of things that a lot of people got to look at when you're talking about this. I think all athletes should be paid because the NFL is not promised to you. I do. I really feel like that. But how far do you want to go with it? Do you want to go as far as Oregon goes with it? I mean, it's easy for us to just say, okay, let's just throw that money out there. But, you know, are you going to see a return on that money? And are they going to have to play because you pay for them to come? You get what I'm saying? So it's like, it's so many different components to this because they're not going to just want to see a guy that's been in the program, but then you have a star athlete come, and then is he as good as the guy that was already on the roster? So you got several questions that need to be addressed and how to pursue it and if they're doing it right. But I agree with everything that everybody else is saying. You got some guys, Roger Pleasant, you got Aiden Breland, all these guys that are going to places like Oregon, and it looks like we lost in the sauce. But I think more than anything, I think winning is going to cure a lot of that. If we win, I think because our like Tacky Curtis, Zach Branch, all those guys have NIL deals. They signed with Victory, whatever it is. I can't even remember the name of it. House of Victory. They signed with them. Yeah. So once they got there, only a couple of months graduating out of high school, and they now have an NIL, signed with NIL. So I think it's a lot of things to be considered. Shout out to Tim Prangley. I seen him on here, man. I tried calling in your show today, by the way, man. The line wasn't working, but shout out to him.
Yes, sir. Hey, you know what, Tim? How you gonna come in here and say what's up to Jay and ain't mention the rest of us, man? What's up with you, Tim? Oh, no, but Tim's my guy, man. But yeah, to piggyback off what you said, Jay. Another thing too is, man, with these kids, a lot of these kids come from underserved, underprivileged communities. And this is California, man. It is not cheap to live out here. So, of course, they're going to get that bag because little bro and little sis got to be fed. You know, if they can take care of the family while being in college, that's what they're going to do. So if we're not offering that, if we don't give them that opportunity, then that's just what it is. They up out of here. Home ain't taking care of us, so then we got to get up out of home. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we lost in the sauce, and like you said, Jay, we lost in the sauce in that regard, man. So the thing is, my biggest fear is just like what Blackie Chan mentioned, man. I fear that we might be like Dabo, but that's been the case for us, man. We've always playing for behind. It's like we're recruiting with Tyler mentioned the facilities. You know, it's always something. At this point, man, it seems like we should be tired of playing from behind, man. USC is not. Let's be real about it. Our brand took a hit under the Clay Helton era. So we're not going to get those guys just for being USC like we used to.
Yeah.
So we got to play ball like everyone else.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys this: how do you guys feel? Because I really think our class, the 2023 class, is severely underrated. We look at Elijah Hughes, Braylon Shelby, Tackett Curtis. I mean, you can just go to Christian Parrish. You go down the line. We didn't necessarily have the NIL in place for them, but we got them, and they were severely underrated. I don't know, man. I don't think we can gamble like that. But at the same time, I think we got a much better quality players with those guys this year, and even Elaney Noah, Michael Benuelas, all those guys, Amos Talele. We got a better quality player than probably Oregon, way better than Oregon's class, I believe, when I look at it, player wise. What do you guys think?
Well, just to add on, yeah, I mean, pretty much by just average ranking, yeah, we're above Oregon by point, 1 or something like that. So we're like the 9th best, in terms of average.
I mean,
so that tells in terms of your quality.
Deuce Robinson, yeah, that Branch.
I mean, we can try 1 year to give out the bag. See how we don't have to always commit to it. Do we all is that something that's set in stone that we have to commit to giving someone the bag at that point? I know maybe some future recruits will you gave this person the bag, why can't you give me the bag? But I don't know. It's just a lot of players. It's just kind of hurts just seeing some of the players that we know we could have had.
Here's the thing though, Jay. Trajectory, man. Last year the trajectory was pointing up. You know what I'm saying? So it was a little easier to get those recruits in that way. Right now, I can't say that the trajectory is going up.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think we're gonna have that luck. And another thing too is you got guys like Dabo and Nick Saban who are realizing, hey, we're getting lost in the sauce. So this summer, they're gonna be in that portal too. It's gonna be a lot more competition in the portal this year. So there's no guarantee that we're just gonna be able to pluck out of the portal like we have been doing and having our way with the portal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're even. Sorry.
Go ahead.
We're even losing people in the portal too.
My concern with the I was gonna say my concern with the portal is that our options are very limited. We're not getting top prospects across the board like in high school, right? Like in high school, you get a lot of 4 or 5 stars that develop to becoming, either solid players or stars. In the transfer portal, you may get your occasional, 3 to 4 players that are really good, but like you guys mentioned, there's gonna be other people competing against us, right? So we may only get 1 out of those players, and we're still gonna have a bunch of holes left to fill. So I personally think we definitely need to focus a lot on high school as well. And whether that's NIL or not, but just figure something out to, improve our high school recruiting because, the transfer portal should only be there to fill in some holes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that?
And two, what we also haven't mentioned, Ro, is that they're not rules.
Let it go. Let it go. Brandon's frozen.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Now that the NCAA is making rules to make it even harder for us, you know what I mean, in the portal, man. So,
yeah,
in my opinion, man, we definitely need to adjust.
Yeah, honestly, they're mad at us for the portal now, so they're trying to restrict that from us.
It's just like I was saying earlier, you're fighting with one arm behind your back, just like Dabo does. That was the analogy that I was talking about last night when we were watching the game. Is Dabo doesn't go in the portal. He doesn't believe in the portal. He doesn't like it. He doesn't want to take away from the camaraderie of the team. Riley's the opposite, but he doesn't really prioritize, the higher end quality guys that you can pick out that can be those really, impact freshman stars. And like Zachariah Branch, Deuce Robinson, those guys are exceptions. But, the momentum is now trending downwards. And, all of these kids that are juniors and seniors did not get to see Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart. They don't remember the Bush. They don't remember where they were because they weren't alive yet. And so we don't have the type of stature, the flashy uniforms that Oregon has. Those things went out over the staleness of USC if I'm objectively looking at it from a junior in high school right now.
Yeah.
I agree with everything, Tyler, but the exception of those flashy uniforms. I don't think that's right.
Well, like,
I'm not saying it's my thing. I'm saying that's what the kids are picking, that type of stuff. They like that. There's a bunch of them that literally say that's one of the things that they pick, you know?
yeah. And it's Nike. They get everything Nike. But like right now with how our offense is looking, who knows if we can even contain skill positions anymore. Like our offense is looking like it's vanilla. It's not like we're going to be able to utilize the skill positions that are coming in right now. Like because we're not. We're just calling basic plays. It's just like who knows if we can hold on to these players that we have, like with Ryan Pelham. Who knows if we can hang on to him if our offense keeps looking like this?
I mean, it's just a few games, fellas. So let's not try to overreact. When
Right. I
think
we kind of jumping it right now, man. Y'all act like the season over, man. We still in it to win it, man.
Yeah, so like it's only, and remember, guys, we've looked like crap these last 4 games, but we've only lost one, and I understand that the hard part of the season's coming up, but I still have confidence in Lincoln Riley that he's going to right the ship. No one's perfect out there, so I think he's going to learn from this and make some adjustments. Like it's every year is a learning experience, so every game's a learning experience. So just keep that in mind that we're in a way better position that we were 2-3 years ago with fucking Clayton Helton, and keep in mind we're still suffering from that era. We don't have the depth, so we have to rely on the transfer portal to make it a quick fix, but. That's why high school recruit is very important to establish that base foundation to not fully rely on the transfer portal. But I still think we'll be all right, fellas.
Yeah, I agree. I think
totally agree.
All right, let me just address something real quick, man. I am tired of the fans bringing up the 4-8 thing. Right? We would not have been 4-8 that season if we had retained Clay Helton for the rest of that season. So let's just be real. That was not a 4-8 team. They were better than 4-8, but yes, we went 4-8. So I hate when they make that, as far as the schedule. Yes, we finished 4-8, but for a reason. You know what I mean? That was not a 4-8 team though. Lincoln Riley's, he was at least on second base coming in. As far as the roster is concerned.
Yeah. See, I don't mean like I'm sorry for being so negative when it comes to our offense, but like our offense has just been slowly trending opposite.
Yeah,
and we keep saying to make the adjustments on offense, and we haven't seen it. So, like,
listen,
I've been super. Wait, sorry, Brandon. Let me just. I want to finish. Like, I just like I've like when that CU game happened, I wanted to stay positive with that, and like because I was there for that game, and it just. Ever since then, our offense was just kind of on a downward trajectory. Like the game against ASU, Caleb barely threw over 200 yards. Caleb didn't even throw over 200 yards in this game, and he had his first interception against Arizona State. He had 3 interceptions against Notre Dame. People are figuring out Lincoln Riley. They've been figuring him out since ASU. And it needs. I know he can change it, but will he change it? That's the question.
There you go. I was just gonna say, man, I agree. It's not that I would love to have the faith that Raul and USCJ has right now, but I haven't seen anything to give me that faith yet. I would love to. I want to believe that we're gonna turn it around. Trust me. I want to believe that.
We have the ability.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like we've played 7 games and we've played 1 complete game, and that was against Stanford. Like we kicked the crap out of Stanford, and that was a really impressive game. And outside of that, like there were glaring deficiencies in all 6 of the other games. We gave up 28 to San Jose State. Everybody's like, all right, your defense is trash. And like, yeah, we were basically using that as a scrimmage. And like we've already talked about that and beaten that horse to death. But like we have played 1 complete game out of 7 games, and now the offense looks exposed, and Riley didn't even look like he knew how to fix it last night. So like, yeah, I do think that they can change things. And like I was talking about earlier, if they're ever going to do it, it's against the team that made us look like little brother last year. and that we should be kicking the crap out of them because Rising should not be playing this week again like he hasn't played all year. So we should kick the crap out of Utah because we should come out pissed off, and it should be at home, and we should have the crowd into it and all those types of things. But I mean, how many more times do we have to like say, all right, this is the week that like we're going to show up? That was supposed to be the Notre Dame game. That was supposed to be last night with that we were ready to show up and like to show the world that this team was somebody to like have to be reckoned with. And the offensive line, like Michael Tarquin gets like one series, gets like pushed around all over the place like his little kid getting, you know, thrown in the locker and stuff. It's like it's embarrassing. Like, I want to be optimistic. I've never been so excited to like all the rest of my sports teams are terrible right now, like absolutely atrocious. And so like it's just like USC or bust. And to see my Trojans struggle like this is really sad. It's like I don't want to like, you know, cast this dark cloud because it's way better than it's ever been since Pete Carroll left. But like we need to trend in the right direction, and it is not trending in the right direction right now. And it could get really ugly if things don't change quickly the rest of the season.
Absolutely. All right, with that, man, we're gonna move to our fourth quarter, man. And it's pretty much what we've already been talking about. Does USC have a chance to make the CFP after that loss? And I'm going to go ahead and just say yes. The opportunity is right there in front of us. But I'll let you guys take it from here, man. The opportunity is definitely there. Guns, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the opportunity's there. I mean, if we can get some things cleaned up on the O lineman and the play calling and just overall different mindset, essentially, going into these games, then yes, we will get there, because I think still a one-loss Pac-12 team will make it into the CFP. I mean, we're the best conference, so the opportunity's there. We got to grab it and take it and go do the thing. So crossing my fingers and looking forward to Utah.
So Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, can we? Yes. Like if we win out, like we're in the playoff. If we beat a top 5 Washington team at home, if we beat a top 15 Utah at home, if we go into Oregon and we beat them, they're a top 15 team. If UCLA hangs on, they're still a top 25 team. And then you got this, the Pac-12 championship game. That's another top 10 matchup, more than likely, assuming the Pac-12 doesn't obliterate itself like it usually does. Then, yeah, like you're absolutely going to get in over a team like Florida State, who probably is not going to play anybody of merit, and their LSU game looks less and less impressive every single time LSU goes out there. So yeah, they're definitely going to get in over a team like LSU or Florida State, in my opinion at least. But will we? I mean, I think there's too many things that need to be fixed at this point. Riley's play calling, offensive line, the defense finally showed up, but like, does any one of us on the screen have any confidence that this team can play 60 minutes worth of defense against some of the better offenses that we're going to see moving forward? Like, I don't. Like Oregon and Washington look a different tier above us. And now that they see that there's a very specific way to target us defensively, you rush 5, spy Caleb, drop 5, like, until Riley makes changes there, I think it could get kind of ugly in those games. There's a lot of things that need to be fixed. And yeah, we have the personnel. Yeah, we have Caleb Williams, who's the best player in college football by far. But somebody needs to like rip this team a new one. Like there needs to be some accountability and there needs to be some fire. Like I said, if I don't see that this week against the team that that beat us twice last year and made like the national media and everybody on social media make us a mockery, then like it's going to be kind of ugly when we play Oregon and Washington.
You're on mute.
I am. There you go. USCJ.
Man, I pretty much agree with everybody, man. I think the opportunity is definitely there. Whether we seize the moment and capitalize on the opportunity, I've always said, even with the struggling defense, now that our defense kind of stepped it up a little bit, I said, struggling defense, I said, it is what it is. They have to stop us as well. But now the fact that we pretty much stopping ourselves, it's kind of like, wow, you don't even have that option on the table no more. So it's like, that's scary to think about that. It really is. It's scary to think about that because I feel like we lost in the sauce, but I know for a fact that the potential is there. Whether they turn it on, that's a whole nother thing. I think that Caleb is going to dig deep with inside himself. Riley's going to dig deep with that inside himself because at the end of the day, it's Riley's legacy that's on the line. Like, do you really want to go out like this? Really? You came to USC. You see the media. I'm sure they're not going to pay attention to all this stuff, but Oklahoma fans are they're killing us right now. You know what I mean? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, man. And so everybody has to dig deep, man. And I feel like, I don't know if Cam Rising is going to play this week, but I feel like we got another Notre Dame opportunity. And that's, you get a little bit stronger of a defense, but then you're not going to have as an explosive offense. So I think that, our defense can have not a tune-up because, I mean, their defense is going to be definitely a upgrade, but I just think we got another opportunity, man, before we really get into a Washington or a Cal type situation, man, to really see where we're at defensively, step it up another notch, and then the offense possibly dig in, man, and try to see what they can do. And I want you guys to really consider, though, man, just think about it. Arizona, man, they are really turning out to be a serious team, man. They were a better team than I think a lot of people are giving them credit for. So USC went to Arizona and they beat them. So it's like, okay, I'm tripping. Arizona came to us. But think about it. They're a good team. I think their defensive line is just as good as Notre Dame's. I think they up there. They got some transfers that came in for Georgia. You look at their roster. You look at Bear Alexander hugging his teammate from last year after the game. So I don't think they're giving as much credit, and I think we handled it and came back, but we just got exposed even more, though, on Saturday. So I'm just thinking that if we could just hang on, just really dig deep, let our offense and let our defensive players, the players that we got, really come out, man. I think we can seize the moment. I'm just hoping we can. I just hope we do it. Actually, do it.
I agree, Bucky Chan.
Can we make the playoffs? Yes, but we have to do a style. Like, I don't know if close wins against Cal, close wins against UCLA, because UCLA lost. I don't think close wins against even Utah is going to be good enough to be able to get us in there. We have to close win over Oregon and Washington. I see we can get away with that because it's Washington and Oregon. But other than that, we have to win with style because that's what the CFP is going to be looking at this point is style when it comes to us. Even though we are playing in the toughest conference, we have to beat Utah convincingly, I feel like, for people to even look at us anymore. Because right now, the media is tearing us apart. They just are. And the CFP probably is not even giving a glance at us at this point. So we need to show up. We need to make statements each and every game. Like say, hey, we slipped up. We're awake now. We've been sleeping this whole time. And we're awake and we're gonna dominate now. We have to dominate. Like we have to what was it? We just can't look like this anymore. Like I know like last week I said I would take ugly wins at this point. I'm not settling for that anymore. Ugly wins will not even give us a second look at this point. We can win the Pac-12 at this point, and I still don't think they would look past Florida State, because when they've had signature wins, they looked good in those signature wins. But for us, if we can't look good against, like, sure, like if defense holds, like if we beat Washington like 32 to like 28, but we look good on all phases of the ball, sure. But right now, I just think style is all that matters right now for us.
Yeah and nay as far as style points. I think it's undeniable that we are the best conference in college football right now. And if we win by any margin, they can't deny it. They can't deny that, in my opinion. But
you think about that, they would have beat a ranked Utah team, probably most likely a top ranked Oregon team, and then a top ranked Washington team, top 10 Washington team. So they can't deny it. It's impossible to deny that.
Right.
And I'm not saying we don't need no style points, but man, you bring some ranked teams, it's like it's a conspiracy at that point.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Listen,
that's
I understand why you feel the way you do. Don't get me wrong. I understand completely why you feel that way, because that any chance to do us dirty, they will.
Yeah, they won't give us any benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Like if we beat Utah barely, they'll be like, Cam Rising wasn't playing.
Yeah, well, we know that. We know. I understand why you're saying what you're saying, but I think at this point that there's no denying that we are the best conference in college football. But I completely understand where you're coming from. But Jay, as far as what you're saying about Arizona, man, I've been saying it for 2 weeks, man. They are definitely a better team than what their record shows. And
what about Jaden Delora?
Hey, Jaden Delora might want to hit the portal again, man.
It's all about Fafita now.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it, man. I mean, he did it against Washington, USC, and Washington State.
Fafita's the truth, man.
Fafita is Arizona's Keaton Slovis.
Yeah, he got them rolling, man. But so as far as like we all mentioned, man, yes, they can do it. Will they? I'm gonna just be honest with you. I'll let y'all know after Monday, after I see these practice reports. These practice reports are gonna tell us where they head at, man. And I'll make that decision from there, because right now I'm gonna say no. Based on what I'm seeing, body language and everything like that, it look like they already defeated, man. But we'll see how they respond to, this week, and then we can go from there, man. But I mean, yeah, everything's still right in front of them, like Lincoln said. We didn't want to hear it that way after that loss, but he told the truth, man. Everything's right in front of us, but it's just it's just a matter of, are they willing to go grab it? Do we expect it to be handed to us, or are we gonna go take it? That's the question.
Facts.
This next game is gonna be very telling about not only the rest of this season, but just the mindset of Lincoln Riley coach teams moving forward, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. USC priority, man. What's going on? Shout out to my guy, man. Yeah, man. Anybody else got anything else to add? See, David says feels like we used up a lot of energy on that Arizona game and paid for it at Notre Dame. You know what, David? You're not wrong.
See, honestly,
I haven't heard that take, but that's a new one. But
I don't buy that though either, because Notre Dame played Ohio State, they played Duke, they played Louisville, then they played us, and they seemed like they had plenty of energy.
Yeah, I was gonna say Notre Dame hasn't had a bye.
They went through the gauntlet that we have at the end of the season, at the beginning of their season. Yeah.
So there's no excuses for what we saw, man. It's just we got out-schemed, outplayed. We just got beat all around the board, man.
Hey fellas, I'm gonna get out of here. I just got back in town with a recruiting trip with my son, man. But I just wanted to tap in with you guys real quick. Man, it was good seeing you guys, man. My apologies for not coming on the screen though. But
how did the trip go?
It went good, man. It went good. We were in Louisiana, man, and on the field yesterday, college football game, man. They walked me around, good treatment. So I mean, everything was good. You know, he's gonna weigh his options out. Got a couple things on the table, man. So we'll see how that goes. But you guys stay blessed, man, and I'll give you guys a holler.
Yeah, hey, Jay, make sure you send me that huddle too, man.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Appreciate you, man. I always appreciate you coming in. You know, you got the open door over here, man.
Yeah.
No doubt, man. You guys take care.
Yes, sir. We'll
Have a
talk.
good one.
All right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I would like to think that that we can, man. But show me something, Lincoln, please.
I need visual proof. Right? I don't speak into. I want to see proof rather than you just talking.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Anybody else got anything to add before we get out of here?
No, just looking forward to Thursday. Yeah.
I will add that, like, I know I feel like this is the harshest I feel like I've ever been on this team right now. I still love this team. Like, I'm still gonna like support them. I'm still gonna rock them all the time. It's just like this is Caleb. Like, if this keeps happening, is Caleb gonna come back for another year? Maybe, I don't know. Because right now,
No way.
but right now, he has not given any scouts there that were there any reason to think that he has a choice of who he's going to go to at this point. So they're like, you know what? If we want him, we'll pick him, no matter if he wants to be on our team or not.
Right.
Like, he's losing leverage.
Tifa says, "Who do you want to see break out?" The USC football team. That's my.
I want to see a damn leader, somebody that earned that C on their shoulder. I want to see somebody like literally rile up the whole entire sideline, like that guy that wants to have that chip on his shoulder and say that, you know, we're not going to lose the rest of the year. Instead, everybody just like, I hope Riley calls my name on this play here. You know, whatever. Like somebody be a damn leader.
Yeah, like, I want the ball in my hands. Give it to me.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what, man? USCJ pointed out perfectly. Something I didn't even think about, man. Those guys that usually fire us up, the Shane Lees, the Eric Gentrys, are not seeing much playing time, man.
Yeah.
So
and they're not wanting to fire anyone up because they're not even playing. Like, they can fire someone up on the sidelines, but it's just like if they want to fire you up, they're going to be on the same field as you, side by side at that point, but they're not getting the chance. Shane Lee has a C on his shoulder, but he's not even on the field with them to be that vocal leader on the field. Like, the offensive line, they're not communicating at all. Like, they're not pointing like, hey, this person's coming from this end, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's no communication. So when someone just comes scot-free, they don't know that they were coming.
So, yeah, we need a breakout leader, man. That's what we need, Tifa. That's another one. Says we have nobody that can check Caleb, it seems.
Not even Riley.
Yeah, and
they look all buddy. It looks like
a little too buddy for my liking, man. It seems like there's no coach-player relationship; it's buddy relationship. And and this is what we get for having that. Let's see. We used our first 2 games too. Yeah, I did see you say that. Yeah, and I agree with you. Priority. Yeah. And now we see. Yeah, like you said, there's no chemistry, man. I think we did use that a little, but you know, I mean, I understand why Lincoln did that. You know, long season and a backloaded schedule. But now, it seems like we're still in the first half of our season with our first team offense because they haven't played enough together and haven't been through enough.
Yeah, it's costly right now. There's no chemistry.
Exactly. Look, they haven't faced this kind of adversity all season. They didn't know how to work their way out of it.
Yeah, they had there's so many different mix match that they're not like, okay, this person next to me, I know what he's going to do, but no, they don't have that. They can't read each other's minds or whatever.
All
right. Well, I'm good.
We're gonna save some breath for the preview show, man. We got a big one, man. You know, going up against Utah, we all got to be ready, man, and top of the team. So we're gonna get out of here, and we will be back with you guys on Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you click that notification bell so you know when we're on, and hit that like button before you get out of here, and that share. Yeah, wherever it is down there. Yeah, we appreciate you, man. You guys come back and join us on Thursday night. All right. With that being said, fight on.
Fight on.